Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the discourses on personality and competency. We're just trying to understand ourselves. We're just trying to understand ourselves. And that understanding calls for very deep sciences to simulate a problem with health industry. See the number of doctors that are required in the modern day to manage a human body. By virtue of that, they manage the quality of life that we live, the quality of experiences that we get. There are doctors of all kinds. There are doctors who talk about the physic part of the body, and there are doctors who talk about the metaphysic part of our body. So, the longer and the bigger a drill is, the better is the diagnosis. Better becomes the diagnosis, and the clearer and more fundamental is our understanding about life, the better is the pitch we understand and the opponent we understand, and better becomes the compatibility between us and our life. Aren't we seeking that? Aren't we trying to better our lives? So, be with this flow, this channel, howsoever intricate the things may become, we are trying to make it necessary part of your living. And if it is necessary, you learn to cook. Men also learn to cook, isn't it? Men go for paternity leave. They do that. So as I enter a discussion on the higher, more intricate part of our behavior, I introduce to you some of the nature's very basic complexities. When I breathe oxygen, I can't refuse nitrogen. I can't refuse that. They'll be part of it. When I drink water, once again, I have that dissolved gas, especially oxygen, coming into me. When I drink water, I take a lot of minerals in it. The elements like sodium, calcium, sulfur, they all exist as ores in the universe. They are much more stable in form of ores. Otherwise, carrying sodium alone would be a very, very difficult proposition. It gives a sizzling noise even if it is put in a kerosene oil, and you can't put it in water. It's very corrosive. So we need to stabilize some of our trait behaviors through amalgamation, very productive amalgamation with some other thing. So we're going to study that today. We'll take a very simple example of you saying hello to someone. You are saying hello to someone. So how do you say it? How do you say it? Good to see you here. Oh, how nice you're here. Oh, what a surprise. I never expected this to happen. You're here. These are the ways, depending on your linguistic skills and your dramatic skills or your openness to people, this is how you will say it. Voice modulation apart. That's your tricks I don't want to introduce now because that becomes a very, very complex exercise. That's why directors are all, they're sunk deep into thought when they create a scene, when they create a dialogue, they're sunk deep into the thought. You wonder, what is he doing? Because he's gone into details of fashioning that particular act, and he's gone into rehearsing for himself hundreds of times how the word and has to be said, or she has to be said, or that has to be said. They're aware of the kind of synthesis that is possible with single word. That's why they're deep sunk into their thought. So theatrics apart, we just look at the plain written communication, and I'll express in as simple way as possible. Right? Ready? So option number one, it's a great way to begin. It's a great way to begin. Option number two, oh, good to see you here. Oh, good to see you here. Oh, how nice you are here. How nice you are here. Well, I didn't know. I'm such a great surprise. You're here. So these four variations we will now try and see from the perspective of personality trait. Okay, now this is one of the models to study that. This is not the end of modeling. This is not at all the end of modeling. This is just the beginning of that. So it's a great way to begin. You're very positive about that time, the moment. You're very positive that somebody is there and you say it. It's a great way to begin the day. So let us look at these two traits, positive and energetic, as the most engaged traits when you are saying this. Look at the variation. Oh, good to see you here. You're creating a compassion. You're creating an ism called humanity, saying that good to see you here. It's only because you are here that my life becomes better. Our dependence, somebody can look at it from another perspective. There are endless possibilities, really. But those possibilities we must begin in our thinking. We must begin to think about those possibilities, and that's what the purpose is. Oh, how nice you are here. Now we are entering a slightly more complex overplay of traits because we're likely to see diplomacy, salesmanship, even gamesmanship. But I don't want you to be biased. It is just an example. This is not the end of modeling. So this sentence said in some other context, in some other way, would probably mean entirely different. Entirely different. So it's not an end of modeling. This is one of the ways you can look at the things. I didn't know. I have such a great surprise. You could be tending to be dramatic and melodramatic. You could be tending to be dramatic and melodramatic. Now, in a sense, these complexities help us understand the possibilities. Going back to kitchen again, going back to kitchen. What do? We try and mix several pulses, cook it severally, differently, fry it severally, differently, cut to different sizes. Vegetables are cut to different sizes. They are brought down to different forms. There are people who are trying to use the boiled potatoes for a thick curry. There are people who do that. There are people who eat raw onions. So if you look at chemistry that is happening, the culinary chemistry that is happening all the time in kitchen, you will probably become aware of the possibilities. How different traits and unions and bondings and associations and amalgamations and the electrovalent and the covalent bonding could create different possibilities. It's not the end of the model, it's beginning. You have to begin to think now, how do you create a certain recipe in every given situation? Is it too much of a task? Is it too much of a task? Well, there are times when you find it difficult to make a round arm action and release the ball at a particular time. And then come the time, even if you're delivering, if you're carrying a tray of tea to be served to your guest, you probably move your arm in such a way that the tea over, falls over. It's impossible for you to hold that moment, that intrinsic tendency to move your hand in the way that the bowler is bowling and delivering a ball at his choice of height. There are times when you grip a glass of water like you're gripping a ball. So it's a question of getting used to it. Better now than later. Better now